For the money, these are the best small truck you can buy in existence today whatsoever. Let's get started. Did I say in all trucks? No, I said for the money. You're not going to get a nice little Toyota for 2 or 3 grand. They're going to be 10 or more. This one is a 2002 Ford Ranger with the 3-liter, just the basic 3-liter V6. It is in fair shape. It has some issues here or there that the customer didn't have the money or didn't want to fix, but we did fix a few things for them. We're going to talk about it and look around the truck today, but I wanted to show you guys, if you're in the market for a small truck, you don't want to spend 78 grand on a new one, you can get one of these for 3, 4, and they last forever. And they're easy to work on, and they're easy to get parts for. So in the small truck segment, this is the king of the hill. Let's go ahead and take a look around this really nice Ranger. This is getting towards the end of the era of this style of Ford Ranger. I think it was 4, 5, 6, somewhere around in there they quit making this style, but this definitely has the updated headlights. We'll go around to the side. You can see it has some stamped steel basic wheels, nothing fancy. This is the XLT package. This truck is dirty. It is extended cab package. This one gets used as a truck, not as a showpiece. You can see here it's got little scrapes and things, and it's a younger guy that owns this. He made a good choice. It's a very good truck. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Here we have our basic 3-liter V6. This is not a Duratec or a big 4-liter single overhead cam or anything. It's just your basic 3-liter. They are a very good engine. There was a time a while back where a lot of these had cracked cylinder heads, but...
What? Cracked heads?
Yes, cracked heads. But it seems like we've kind of gotten past that. They've either been repaired or issues have been resolved. But they're not tons of power. I don't know the exact figures. You guys could let us know in the comments the exact numbers on this, but they have decent power, decent torque, okay gas mileage. I would really prefer the 4-cylinder, but these are not a bad engine either. We did do a tune-up on this engine. It has new plugs, new coil, new wires. As you can see here, as I mentioned, the coil pack has been replaced. Anytime I do a tune-up on these older 2000s, late 90s Fords, I always include a coil pack because I can remember a day when I replaced a lot of them. We could easily go from bumper to bumper and put $6,000, $7,000, or $8,000 in fixing every little nickel and dime thing on here. That's not what I advise the customer to do. Fix the major issues, get it running and driving, and just get the miles out of it that you can. These things aren't worth a whole lot. It's not worth putting that kind of money into. But the engine runs smooth now. We got the tune-up taken care of. It had a little bit of misfire at idle. Now it does not. Let's go ahead and jump into the interior.
188,925 miles. This has a lot of miles on it, and it really is doing it in really, really, really good shape. Simple gauge cluster, nothing fancy, all analog dials. As we move up, even as a work truck, it's in really good shape. There's no cracks, there's no marks, there's no, it's not melting and gooing off like others of different eras and different times. But a simple dash, simple, very, very simple controls for our radio and HVAC system. It looks like we can even have a very simple turnstile for that airbag. And then we have just a very simple cup holder, which is attached. It kind of looks like one of those that you would have had back in the day, those temporary ones, but nope, he's actually installed. So it looks pretty good down there. As we look at our seats, they are cloth and they're in really good shape. There's no real tears or marks or anything going on. So for as many miles as that are on here, it's in really good condition. Now, the one thing I'm kind of curious about is it does have a nice covered armrest with another cup holder here. It's looking like it's got a few marks on it, but I would hate to be the person that would get stuck sitting in that very, very tiny little spot. I mean, you'd have to have a very tiny hiney to fit in that middle seat, but the top front bench seat, I guess-ish, could fit 3 people. The door cards are in great shape. Lots of plastic over there, but it's all there. It's not broken, it's not plastic, there's no holes, it's in really good condition. As we move to the back cargo space, seats, they do fold up. And I like how they fold up this way. I've seen others, especially the S10 of previous years, probably about the same era, they went sideways. So they came off from that sidewall where that speaker is and went down, and you'd almost ride sideways. Not a good way to ride. Now, not overly safe where your head is going to be if there's an accident, because there's no headrest, but it can work as an emergency seat if need be. But obviously, he's got some tools back here. He's got some other items just because it is a work truck, which makes it much nicer. And actually, that center section there, it looks like it's got a couple cup holders as well. Headliner's in good shape, no sags, real simple. Nothing's crazy going on. There's no controls up here, no sunglasses holder, because it's a simple work truck. So I'm guessing from the buttons on our steering wheel here that they have used the Cruise a lot on getting those 188,000 miles, which I appreciate. I like to use the Cruise when I'm out on the open highway as well. We have a lot of open highway here in Kansas. So obviously using these buttons on the steering wheel, but again, that Ford logo is looking great and fabulous in the center of our steering wheel. Otherwise, this is looking really good in here, but I wonder what's going on the underneath.
So Mrs. Wizard is right. There's actually some things going on under here. We actually let the customer know about them, but we were not able to fix them. Let's take a look and see what we found. The power steering pump up above is leaking and dripping down a little bit onto the rack. We actually removed these boots just a little bit and looked inside, and the rack is leaking just a little bit. Radiator and everything is nice and dry, nothing leaking going on there. No other major issues on the engine. Shocks look fairly recent, not brand new, but okay. Brakes are 50%. Nothing loose there. Same on this side. Shocks are not blown. These sway bar bushings are okay for now. All this wetness you see here is the valve cover gaskets. They're leaking down the engine block and actually going to the bell housing, and then the wind blows it onto the transmission. It's all from the valve cover gaskets. Here's our drive shaft. U-joint is good. Here's the other end of the beefy drive shaft, Mrs. Wizard.
It is awfully long.
And got a good U-joint. Back here at the differential, we actually did some work. I'll talk about it here in a minute, but we put fresh oil in it and some additive. I'll mention here in a minute what we did. Here's our drum brakes. Nothing's pouring out on the drums there. Shock looks good. And the same story over here. Here we had the differential cover off, put a new gasket, new oil. Again, I'll talk about here in a minute, but let's check our spare. Yep, it's got air in it. Always check spares if you're working on somebody's car. It really sucks if you break down and it's flat. You put a flat tire to fix a flat tire. That doesn't do you any good. Stock exhaust. Everything looks okay except for the leaks. Let's get this thing on the ground. Now the only things we fixed on this truck was the tune-up, like I just mentioned, and in the rear end, the actual gear lash and the things are getting pretty worn on the rear differential. The customer's not really interested in spending hundreds of dollars or tons of money to get it rebuilt, so we put some thicker oil, some BG, MGC additive in there, and it did quiet it down about 50%, and when we told them just drive it that way and enjoy it, it may go quite a long time that way. Like I mentioned, these trucks being worth $2,000 or $3,000, possibly $4,000, it's not worth sinking $7,000 into it. You could easily do that by starting from the front and fixing every single leak, every little thing. It adds up fast. We got the engine running smooth. It was running kind of rough at idle. We did the tune-up, now it's smooth. We took care of the noise in the rear end, which was the original complaint. And we did mention some of the other things, the leaks that we're seeing. We mentioned maybe in the steering system some stop leak. The customer wasn't interested in the stop leak, nor doing the proper repairs to replace all the leaking components, so that's understandable. Again, we don't want to run up a giant bill on a truck that's not worth that much. But that being said, it is still one of the best trucks on the road that you can buy for the money. I didn't say completely, just for the money. Some of the items that were declined for the repairs, is it going to damage the engine or tear this truck up? No. Just keep an eye on the fluids, monitor the fluids, make sure they stay full. It'll be just fine. It could probably go another year or two before anything really needs to be looked at any further. Is one of the small Toyota pickups better than this truck? You bet it is. But like I just mentioned at the beginning of this video, you're not going to pick one of those up for $2,500. it's probably going to be $10, $12, or $14,000. People know what they got. They got a Toyota. It's excellently, supremely reliable, and the asking price reflects that. While we were under the hood, I mentioned how I replaced a lot of the ignition coils. I remember one summer at a shop that I worked at, specifically on the 3 liters and sometimes the 4 liters, I think in a year's time I replaced 60 coil packs. They just seem to drop like flies when they get age on them. And from that experience that I can draw upon, whenever someone today needs a tune-up on a vehicle like this, I say, hey, plug wires, plugs, and by the way, you're getting a coil whether you like it or not. And if you don't want to do the job, I understand. It's all or nothing. Because there's been a few times where we do just the plugs and the wires, and then in 30 days it's misfiring because the coil pack died. Now the S10 is also a good truck. It's just not as good as one of these. Anybody that has a little truck that they keep just around for hauling things or small loads or whatever, it seems to be always a Ford Ranger. If things do break, the prices aren't $500 and $1,000. They're usually $50, maybe $100. They're not incredibly crazy or stupid to work on, and they don't cost a lot to buy or insure. If you're in the market and you've got $2 to $3 grand to spend and you need a pickup truck, pretty much just dial in on the Ford Rangers. And this is the late 80s, all through the 90s, the early 2000s. Really, any of these are really good trucks. So when we did a few repairs on this truck, it wasn't anything majorly extensive. We did what the budget allowed to get the most for the money here. But before this truck left, I definitely wanted to do a video for you guys to show you through the years, over 2 decades of experience I have working on these vehicles. These Ford Rangers really are that good for the amount it takes to buy one. You just really can't beat them. So this is why I'm saying, here it is. The question is, I'm looking for a small truck. I don't have 40 grand to buy a new one. What should I get? Car Wizard? A Ford Ranger. There you have it. It's been a very busy week at Omega. Customers are actually on their way to come pick this up. It is done. So we're filming this real quick right before it actually will be leaving. Got it just in time for you guys. If you're curious what kind of tools that we use to work on this, actually Grimes did the repairs on this one, or really any of the cars in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. If you purchase anything, really great gift ideas down there. Make sure to go check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways. There's a link in the description for that. She's got lots of great videos to watch there. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because there's many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.